Hello fellow academics and welcome to Farthest Frontier. I've had my eye on this game for a little while now, ever since I saw City Planner play this on his livestream. So I figured why not give this a go and try to see how things pan out. So I've downloaded the game, I've tried a little bit of exploring just to get some of the basic controls down. I'm by no means an expert, but we're still playing on the hardest difficulty, because again, that's kind of what we do around here. So we start out with an initial area that our beautiful people have explored. There are some wolves around, there are some boars around, and also just a bunch of resources. All the small little icons that you see, those are our resources. And we need to start figuring out where we're gonna place ourselves. This is also a bandit camp, so we don't want to be too close to them. But I don't think we want to be anywhere over here. There's like a little lake that could be nice. I forgot. Let's see, 3, 4. No, it won't tell us what it is. Oh, look at that. This will tell us, though, there are a couple of wolves roaming around. So this area could be okay. There are fish over here. But all of our settlers are here. There's also some fish there. It is much closer to the bandit camp up here, but might be overall okay. Boars in this direction. So yeah, maybe around here wouldn't be too bad. We're gonna have a quick look at fertility. Fertility, as you see, is in green because we want to make sure that we can relatively quickly also build some farms and supply our settlers with what they really need. However, I think we're gonna place ourselves in the middle of these two lakes will probably be a good call. There are some deer roaming around here, so we have space for a hunter, and there are other like basic things that we need. What are the others? Desirability, we don't really have anything yet. There's also one for water. If I only remembered the controls. Alright, let's have a look. Crop summary, nope. There we go. Desirability, water is I. Okay. So there we go. Let's press I, and kind of to be expected, everything pretty much green. So that's pretty cool. I know this is iron. There's definitely a lot of food down here. So let's go back into fertility, and based on that, I would say we place our city center actually just off of that. Maybe even just right. No, let's go a little bit closer to that lake. Alright, they will need to chop down some trees, but I think it gives us a little bit of space to, you know, build things around there. Alright, city center placed. Now our visibility has definitely shrunk. What our people will do now is they're gonna chop down these trees and then start building our city center. Then we also need to do harvesting and stuff, and like I said, I haven't played this properly yet, so I'm gonna leave the tutorials on. But especially for the beginning, I know some of the things that kind of need to be done. So we're marking a couple of resources to be harvested, and that should be mostly trees, which will definitely help us moving things forward. I think the shoal of fish, probably shoal of fish, will be a good first food supply for our settlement. So in the meantime, I'm gonna make sure I'm marking, actually, maybe not this guy, remove as target. You can manually select them individually or use the harvest resource button over here to chop down bigger areas or mark bigger areas to be harvested. So what I see here though, there are deer right on top of that very fertile land, which ultimately not too great, because they ultimately will just eat our crops if we're ever going to place them here. So that's just something to keep in mind. All right, we are playing on the highest setting for this game. It does look gorgeous. Don't know what they're... some of them are actually chopping down stone. Okay, we could remove that as target. Less important than all the trees, but let's make sure we prioritize them building the town center. So you can prioritize individual buildings, and otherwise, again, it's just a regular management game. The housing shortage, yep, I definitely am aware of that. And we're trying to play this somewhat realistic. Not quite though, somewhat realistic. So if we go into houses, we can't do anything until, I guess, our city center is built. So I guess let's keep waiting. Beginning is a little bit slow. Housing. The sound effects are a bit dramatic, I would say. Alright, we're low on firewood, I know. So as with a lot of these games, you need firewood in the winter, and ideally you have them distributed through the marketplace. But future worries. We will need to build a firewood station somewhere. But now with the main building in, we're already in a pretty good situation. We're right now at the end of winter. You see that up here, coming out of winter, going into spring. So I want to make sure that we focus, well, first on food, because everyone needs a bit of food to eat. I'm going to place the hunter a little bit further away, not too far away. But this will make a lot of sense, because I think I will try to put our houses around our city center, maybe also a little bit more towards the front. We'll see. With tab, we can rotate the buildings, which is definitely useful. And then for now, I'm actually just gonna place it right here. Alright, this should also be prioritized in being built. And then we have a food source. So the next thing, what else do we have? A basic well or water. Water supply also always good. And the water supply, I haven't fully understood this yet. Supposedly, it's really good for water to be close to trees. Now, I guess it's supposed to be all about evaporation and stuff, but yeah, I'm still not entirely convinced. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna place that in front of our town center. I'm just gonna place it on this side, and then they can start building this. Some buildings have a work area, that is correct. So buildings like the Hunter, they have work areas, and that's the button right here, where you can just recenter the target area. I'm going to place them right now so that all of the, well, not all, but two at least of the deer places are actually within that area. We have one here and one up there. And that should definitely cover most of what we need to do. Well is in as well, and that one slowly fills with water. So with both of these buildings in, we could already put down a firewood chopper. Housing shortage. Yes. The firewood chopper. Oop. Didn't mean to go in here. We're just gonna, for now, place close to our hunter. Actually, not close, on the backside of him. So this top area can actually become a little bit more of an industry area. And with that done, we're also gonna start building some houses. I keep pressing R, settlement items, okay. And then tab for rotating things. Desirability, 13% everywhere, so that I think is overall okay. So placing this around our city center. Gonna place 3 in this direction and actually just 3 on the other side. I'm leaving a little bit of space for potential future decorations. and other things like it. There we go. That will give us 6 houses in total. Once they're built actually very quickly. Desirability, that's kind of the thing that I just mentioned. Houses prefer high desirability, and if it gets too low, houses might get abandoned. So that is ultimately also just good to know. All right. With that, then, we have 6 houses. We do have some food that we're producing, but not a ton yet. So the next building that we're actually going to place is also food related. So let's have a look at the food production. Forage shack, fishing shack actually, because we want to make good use of that fishing shoal. Yeah. A nice thing with this game is that once you build a building, you can actually move it around. It will cost definitely some time. I think it might also cost some resources. But that's, future stuff to figure out. But let's focus on this. More people await. Where to join your settlement. Yeah, 4 months of supply and 6 houses. We have the 6 houses now. So now we're just needing food supply. Food is up here. Currently we have 0. Although our hunter is busy doing stuff. So the fishing building, definitely very useful right now. Fishing area plus 10%, plus 20%. Ooh, I wish we could place it in the middle. What if we, and the school of fish is not in there, plus 30%. But I don't think it was in there. Low food, yeah, we're working on the food stuff. So, and it made my thing go disappear. All right. So let's rotate this around. 170% fishing area is then 140%. I think 170% is fine. So we're building our fisher's hut right here on behind our houses, which I think is also okay. And later on, we might just move this away a little bit. So, you are doing pretty well. You have some pelts stored, some tallow stored, some firewood stored. So, overall, we're doing all right. Let's also make sure that we're knowledge is power. I agree. So, in this game, in order to research, you need to accumulate knowledge. There are a couple of specialized buildings that make knowledge production a little bit more effective, but there is a passive knowledge income from your city center. So that's just something to be aware of. I'm just going to mark down a few more trees to be cut down, and then we're going to go into the research tree. It's up here, and it is massive. And I have no idea what all of these do, but it doesn't really matter. We can only do the bottom part. Woodlord gives us more resources, venting chambers, productivity increase, and so on. Fish replenishment might actually be quite nice. But what I think I want to do is the 20% base knowledge generation. I think that just produces research a little bit faster, and in the long run, that will be quite beneficial. All right, so that is in. Our fisher hut is doing okay, and here we can now increase the overall productivity. 150 fishing productivity, 300%. There we go. Because we have a ton of these blue spots. These are all fishing places, plus the shoal of fish in the middle. That will also provide us with additional bonuses. So that will definitely supply us with more food for now. But I think we're not done. It might be worthwhile looking into a forager. Hazelnut bush? Really? Are they bushes? I thought they were trees. Huh. Interesting. Good to know. So in winter, all the pickings are basically very slim, so we don't need to build a forester right now. I do wonder if this will actually freeze over. That would, well, not be great. But yeah, we'll see. We'll get through this. Alright, need to build a market. We require a saw pit. So let's go into resources. Firewood splitter, saw pit, require storage. So we need to build some storage. Stockyard, makes sense. All of our resources need to be stored somewhere. And for now, we're building the stockyard up here, because this will, again, kind of become... Actually, I haven't looked what it's gonna look like, which way I need to rotate it. Actually, the opening is in the bottom left corner, so that sounds pretty decent. So let's do that. Autosave. Time for a sip of water, not tea. Oh, the deer disappeared from here. Interesting. Alright, we're gonna move this over. I don't think I will quite get both. Maybe I will. Like that. So maybe not too bad. People are hungry. Buildings don't have food. Now they do. Now they don't. They kind of need to make up their mind. I guess they go and grab it and then bring it back, and then and only then will they be considered to actually have some food. Alright, how is this coming along? Prioritize building it. Oh, policies. As with most, survived the first winter without losing a villager. Cool. Last time when I tried to get used to the controls, a wolf ate one of my villagers. So that was awesome. Anyways, most of these games do have some kind of policies. And we should kind of have a look where it is. Hostile bandits have been spotted. Of course they have been. Let's see. We're still working on that. Where are the hostile bandits? I guess that's probably that village area we've seen. That building, not building, that camp that we have seen over there. Alright. Well, we've made it through the first winter. We wanted to look at policies. They are in your town center on the bottom right. And I think there are a couple of them overseeding, but that comes with negative side effects. Negative side effects here, negative side effects here. I think I like this because hunters and guards use crossbows. Or yeah, we don't have any towers yet, so that doesn't really make sense. All right. Since we don't have any military at the moment, we're just going to activate this one. This is just rationing. Happiness is reduced. I kind of want to keep the happiness high, because I think it will be beneficial for us to keep our citizens happy. Big surprise, I know. Alright. So, let's look into our building menus. What else can we build? Storage house, root cellar for storing our food. Definitely useful. So we'll definitely build that. We're building that again on the back of our city center, right next to our storage facility over here. And that will prevent, well, not prevent, but slow down food spoilage. Especially in medieval times, keeping food fresh-ish, at least, helps a ton, or helped a ton to make villages overall just survive. Alright, root cellar is in. Store all items compared to store what we need for building. So we will actually place it over here once our citizens have chopped down all of these trees. Basically make a little bit more space for us to, well, to build. Alright, what else do we have? We now can actually place our first farm. And while we are basically just early winter, it will take a while for them to build it. So we'll still just do that. Let's see. Fertility factor. Will we go maximum size? I think we will. Environment. Fertility factor 90%. 12 by 12. 12 by 12 overall, not too bad. I guess you can literally just go 12 in either direction. Fertility is 62%. Yeah, that's alright. We're just gonna place that right here. And I know there are some greens in here, but I'd rather have a farm than just regular greens. Excuse me. Alright. So that is set up to be chopped down. I do want them... Oh, look at that. That actually needs a ton of stone. So we need to set someone to go and harvest some stone. And I want this ideally to be a little bit higher priority than this. But I'm thinking people are just distributing the workload. We still haven't acquired a ton of food, which makes me think we're just gonna go ahead and build a forager shack right next to our hunter. So this basically becomes our little food production area. I don't know if that makes the most sense, but we'll see. Alright. So they're building this as well, and once it's done, we can adapt the area where they're gonna forage. There's a little bit over there. There will actually be a lot more over here. So let me, remove you from being built and actually place our scavenger over in this, or forager over in this corner. Maybe let's actually just go ahead, forager shack. I don't think it has a negative effect. Develop land. Yeah. And at some point I will learn that R is not for rotating, but it's for this other menu. Alright, let's place it here. Highest priority. We have a ton of wood and a ton of firewood. So when it comes to that, we're overall doing okay. And that's actually not a bad placement. I will still move it a little bit more to get a few more of these resources in. But once this is built, I think we'll be doing just fine. Like the weather effects, I'm a little bit worried about so much lightning striking. Storage capacity, I guess you can still store things for us. Our little wagon. Is anyone... No. Let's prioritize you. I do want a bit more of stone available, so I can actually finish the root cellar. But our little village is actually coming along. I like the way it looks. I do. Knowledge generated, so we can actually go in here and we'll research some more stuff. The fish would be nice since we have a fishing hut. Otherwise, defensive barricades, don't need that. Damage for villagers and armor for villagers would probably be good. Lookout distance, productivity. Work firewood, pottery, linen, and soap, so different things. Let's go with the fish for now. Yep, I'm gonna confirm that. So now the fish replenishment in here should be a lot faster. 102 fish. Not bad, I would say. Not bad. You've chopped down one stone. I guess that is alright. Still have someone doing a little bit of work over here. Forager is now built. so now we can move the area over a little bit, and for now we're just gonna place it, I think, right in this, or close to our city center. So they might actually be able to get to the greens as well before they disappear. Alright. What else do we have to do? Well, I think we just need to build more buildings. And I think one good building would be a market, which we can't do. Found in resource production, saw pit. Now this has a negative desirability effect. See that red area around it? The closer we get to the houses, the more they hate it, which kind of makes sense. But a little bit annoying. Even if just a little bit. So we're gonna keep it away from our settlers. Put it right here. Meaning again, our city will expand in this direction rather than over here. And this will remain our little industry part. Make sure we prioritize you as well. You shouldn't be too expensive. And producing planks, in the long term, I think we can actually sell them for, well, for some money income. We still haven't managed to acquire 4 months of food supply, but I think we're close. 7, there we go. How long do I need to maintain it? Maintain significant, will help attract more. Okay. It's just what it is. You're still prioritized? I don't quite know. Harvest resource, prioritize you as well. Don't know why they're doing this already. Like all of them. And none of the other things. Okay, priority doesn't quite seem to do anything, so I'm gonna pause you properly. And now you need to prep it, but I really need you guys to focus on other stuff. Oh, there we go. We have no immigrants, we're accepting them. Good, you can go straight to work. We do have plenty of places for them to sleep. So don't need to worry about that. And other than that, we're kind of just waiting around. Oh, there was our hunter shooting this deer. I guess the deer has returned in this corner. New villager was born, 2 new villagers immigrated. I don't know if the born villager counts for that. Hello, little girl. Rolana, welcome to the tribe. But anyways, we're doing, I think, okay. Alright, there are now... Oh, this wasn't actually prioritized, so let's do that. Bustling market, I do agree. And we're working on this. So market can actually supply your villagers with what they need instead of them having to go and get it themselves from wherever. So it gets kind of stored at the market, which makes a ton of sense. Building storage is full. Yeah, we're kind of working on this. But, oh yeah, now we have people actually also working on the stones, which is good, because once this is built, they can pause over here and we can bring them back to the farm. Why you just stood here? Just standing around. Alright. Alright, how is this going? They're bringing the wood over, which means they've already cleared the space. It's awesome. And like I said before, we actually have a ton of wood. Not entirely sure why they don't chop the rest of this down. Alright. Let's give them a few more incentives, basically. Okay, sawmill is in, which means we're producing planks now, and that also means we should have... Nope. We have not unlocked this. We need a storehouse for all the goods. Not just the... what is it? Store yard? Storage yard? Stock yard. There we go. All right, so let's go into storage. Build a storehouse. We're gonna keep that next to our storage yard. One space empty, so we can throw a path down there in the long run. Also gonna make sure this is prioritized because I want you guys to finish that. And actually, the root cellar is almost built. Cool. Which makes me think maybe I should stop prioritizing you. We're gonna leave you on priority, which is fine. And then soon it is time to reactivate our farm. I kind of like the vibe of this game. It looks so nice. There's a drought. Stunt the growth of crops. We don't have any, so I guess that's good. And we do have 200 water in stock in our basic well, which I think overall is good as well. I don't think it affects the fish. Does seem to have a ton of fish left, so that's good. Food loss to spoilage. Also makes me think, in addition to the meat, we want to look into the food production and build a smokehouse. Ideally, we keep this close to our hunter, but it doesn't need to be too close. So what we can actually do is build it up here in line with our sawmill, and then it's also not too far away from our fisher hut, and we'll kind of get things ready for us. Okay, also prioritizing this. Oh look, the root cellar is in. Nice. And new villagers and more knowledge created. So what would be the next one? I think more resources gathered for a food source. The forage source makes a ton of sense. Work to produce smoked meat could also be nice since we're building this right now. Them being healthier sounds good as well. Taxation could be good. Because we will need gold in the long run. You know what? Let's try the gold. We don't have a market yet, but that's what we're kind of spearheading to do. You guys are still chopping down the tree. Things take a little while, so it's definitely a slower paced game. But in all honesty, I really enjoy this. Wow, 37 meat lost. That was quick. Alright, you guys just need more stone.
What needs doing?
We have more stone to come out of this. Not enough, actually. But once they're done with this, they can tackle the big one, the big rock over here. Alright. Storehouse is coming in. Just a little bit more work hours. Here we go. Storehouse is in, and that will allow us to place a market. And I'm thinking we're placing the market right next to our well. Don't need to leave space over here, but I will rotate it around. Just like that. So it's open towards the well, which I quite enjoy. And it does cover all of our houses, increasing the desirability. Alright. And you know what? With that, I think I'm going to call this an episode. I like this game. Leave a like, leave a comment below if you want me to keep playing this. I think it will be fun. Even though it is the hardest difficulty. No, that's over here. Which, you know, will be quite interesting, but I'm having a ton of fun. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.